All right, gang, just a quick little nugget I'm going to share with you today. This is part one of what's going to be three parts about climbing the hill. We've been talking about building momentum. And sometimes when we think about momentum, we're thinking about momentum carrying on and making things easier. And sometimes we get the impression of rolling down the hill. And being able to take advantage of momentum and rolling down the hill is such an awesome experience when you've put in the work to go up the hill. So we're going to talk about climbing the hill this week and next week and the following week as well. But first, I want to give you a little nugget. And this is taken from a book called Pound the Stone. And it is the Stonecutter's Credo. So I'm going to read it to you real quick. By the way, I'm sitting here with one puppy. And let's see. Puppy number 2. Lucy, say hey. They make it cozy for me. All right. The Stonecutter's Credo. When nothing seems to help, I go and look at the stonecutter hammering away at the rock, perhaps 100 times. Without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet, at the 101st blow, it will split into 2. And I know it was not that blow that did it, but all that had gone before. That's a quote by Jacob Riis. That's an old quote, and I love this credo because it's so easy to stop after 100 swings on the rock. It's so easy to stop and think that nothing's happening just because maybe the scale isn't moving the way you want to, or maybe you're more stressed than you want to, or your clothes are fitting the same, or you're not seeing the results you wanted. It's so easy to stop because of the appearance that there's no change. And if you had just worked one more day, if you had just gone one more time, that stone would have broken. Not because of the single blow, but because of everything you had done before it. So I challenge you guys today, as you're working towards your goals, to think of this as climbing up the hill. And there's only one way to go up a hill. And I learned this method from my dad. When I was about 9 years old, my dad decided to take up running, and of course I couldn't run with him. So I rode my bike a lot while he was running, and it was our time together. Well, I moved, and the neighborhood that we moved into in Atlanta, first of all, Atlanta has some good hills. The St. Savannah, y'all, I don't know what you guys call hills here is nothing. But Atlanta's got some hills now, and there's this one hill in my neighborhood that I swear, I kid you not, the name of the street is Flat Rock, and it's about a 50-degree incline. It's a ridiculous hill that goes up for maybe about 150 meters, and it is like straight uphill. And this, as a kid, to ride my bike up was almost nearly impossible. For like the first 2 years that we lived there, I'd have to get off my bike and walk it up the hill because it was the only way to do it. So we were on a walk one day, and we got to the hill, and my dad said, let's run up it. And I was like, you're crazy. But in fact, it was easier to run up the hill than it was to walk up the hill. And here's why. Physiologically and like the biophysics of your body, it is easier to take short, choppy steps up the hill than it is to take big, long steps up a hill. Think about just climbing a staircase, taking lots of tiny little steps as opposed to really big, giant ones. Even though you're going the same distance, looking at your feet, kind of leaning forward, taking short, quick steps as quickly as you can. And if you're just focused on those next step, before you know it, you're up and you're at the top of the hill. So I'd like to encourage you guys today, one, to stick after it. Keep pounding the stone. And second, when you're on the hill, rule number 1 is you never stop while you're on the hill. Rule number 2 is short, choppy steps, looking down at your feet, paying attention to the very next step, and focusing on that. The smaller the steps are, the easier it is to get up the hill. So focus on those daily short steps, things you're doing every day that you know are going to get you where you want to go, even if you're not quite seeing the results yet. They're coming. All right, hope you guys have a fantastic week.